That's right back, Charlie. Definitely.
He always used to act very nice, defend it. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on. As the big man Ian Wright just said there, people deluded, I'm back again. Special guest setting, something I've been trying to cook up for a while. With it being Arsenal versus Manchester City, it's only right, man. How you doing, my bro? You good?
I'm good. You lot can hear me, yeah?
Yeah. You're all sweet, man. You're good. What are you saying?
Shit. Thank you for having me. I mean, I'm a bit in some pain today, you understand? A bit of a toothache, you understand? So I had to rest it out. You know, unlike some of our players and manager, I understand when there's an injury, I rest. You understand? Not like our manager that thinks, yeah, I'm a squeeze the life out of my players and rinse them like a bar of soap. But we'll get into that. But yeah, thank you for having me, brother. We've been cooking this for a while.
Man. You started that in a great way. Do you know what? Yeah, I actually was going to ask you because the chance for me to pick your brains, you know, obviously you've been making content for a while and things like that. What actually pushed you to start content making?
Boy, that's a good question. It was a thing where just like I grew up seeing, you know, the likes of like Eddie Caddy and Mice Comedy and Tommy Expensive and those kind of guys, and they were doing skits. And it was a thing where I was like, yeah, I'm just drawn to this. I like watching them. I feel like I'm funny. I'm a clown in class.
No, you definitely are, man.
And I thought, hey, whoa. Why'd you just agree on the clown part? You just agreed on the clown thing too quickly.
No, do you know what? You said the clown thing after my bad. The funny thing. Yeah, bro.
But it was a thing where it's like, oh, like, I just want to do the content and the videos and the sketches because I just grew up on watching that sketches and stuff. And it just worked hand in hand because I'd been doing sketches for like 6 years. And then I started stand up. And then it was like, okay, this is helping promote my comedy club, Golden Mike. It's also helping promote my shows. And then as well as that, through there, I learned how to script write. I wrote a cartoon during COVID and released it called Rap Tunes. So yeah, man, like I think it just worked hand in hand in what I wanted to do because I always wanted to be a comedian and I also wanted to star in movies. So I was like, instead of waiting, you know, for the colonizers to give me, you know, a role, I'm gonna make the roles myself. You understand? So I think that was the best thing. So yeah, man. But I'm gassed. I can't lie. I snapped myself when the intro came on because I was just like, bro, I didn't know how. I'd never been on like a setup like this. I was like, okay. I've been on like Zoom
I'm an Arsenal fan. I was like, it makes fully sense, man. I gotta be able to pick fellow Arsenal fans' brains, man, on the content, yeah. Because as a fellow content creator, I personally had that. You know, you think about doing it for a while, and then you kind of not self-doubt, but you kind of psych yourself out, and then there's that big jump of F it, I'm gonna do it. Did you ever go through that, or like, did you long before you started? Did you ever have that voice in the back of your head saying, "I'm gonna do it, I'm not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm not gonna do it," or was it just straight away you had the idea, 10 toes down, boom?
I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember if I had that. I'm not gonna say I've never been nervous. I've been nervous in other situations, like going on stage and doing stand-up, or maybe there's a particular video I'm like, oh, this is gonna trigger some people. Should I do it? All right, I'll do it.
But I see the memes on Twitter, man. You're always getting promo, bro.
So it was like I just kind of did it, and like there's been different stages in my content. Like when I was doing it, and I actually wasn't like loving the content I was doing, but it was blowing up, and then I did the switch up. And people were like, oh, yo, man, cancel this guy. And then I learned the balance. And then I started playing smart with it. And now I don't really give a heck. You know, if I find something funny, I'm going to put it out. But that's just years of experience of writing and, you know, and doing content, which has helped me get to that point. So to answer your question, I can't say there was nerves in the beginning, but there's been like nerves, you know, in between. But I think you just kind of just have to just say F it and just go. You know.
That makes sense, man. Last question on that sort of stuff. What's the toughest sort of challenge you faced or the toughest moment in your career to date so far?
Toughest. Being myself. I think being myself.
People won't understand that, but I get what you mean.
That's like in a world where you would think being yourself is easy, that especially online, it's the hardest thing. And once you get to that stage where you're yourself and your work, it's amazing. There was a period just after COVID, and it was obviously a tough time for everybody, but a realization for most where it was like I was saying, I'm doing this work, I'm blowing up, but I don't like the content. I don't feel it's for me. Like
You're just doing it because it's making sense, but it's
yeah,
not
the
making
jokes
sense.
I'm making with the man them or whatever are different than the ones I'm doing online. And that doesn't make sense if I'm trying to be a comedian. I got to be raw with it. So it was like that kind of fight between myself to be like, listen, be yourself, you know, in your videos, in your writing, in stand up, you know, and being truthful, and you're gonna flourish. And you know, since then, I can honestly say I'm really enjoying my work, like the last 2 years. So yeah, I think that was the toughest point. But yeah, being myself, 100%.
Nah, man, it's proper nice to hear, especially, you know, elephant in the room, unless people are colorblind, like we're both black. It's difficult, as you mentioned, with colonizers, it's difficult being yourself, especially where, you know, essentially we're in this to make a living. A lot of people, I'm sure, in your field are quote unquote sellouts and they're getting somewhere. So it's difficult being yourself. Obviously, like, kind of being, you got to have a give and take in it. I'd put it like you got to find that balance of being yourself and also giving what your audience wants. So it was just interesting as a fellow content creator hearing that. Next question in relation specifically to Arsenal, you kind of touched on it, and I want to just see your opinions. You kind of mentioned, you know, Mikel Arteta resting players and stuff like that. You know, I obviously you're talking about Bukayo Saka. Where are you at with that? Like, do you think he's wrong in starting Saka in the Champions League, for example, or giving him the minutes he deserves or needs to play?
Yeah, no. All this talk, you know, like, to be fair, what I've noticed is there's a difference between Arsenal fans on Twitter and in real life. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
100%.
it's not the same. But, you know, from what I've seen online, it's like Arsenal fans are acting like they ain't been here before. You know, Wenger days, you're playing your best players in the Champions League. Understandable. There's not this resting thing,
Facts.
especially in Lens, a tough away game. That's like the French Newcastle. To be fair, there's bare team. The atmosphere you get in St. James's
Every
Park,
away game's brazy.
it's brazy in the Champions League. You go somewhere, Dinamo somewhere, Moscow, wherever the hell you're going,
Fireworks and the rest
you
of
got
it.
ultras, you got everything. Guys want to bang you in the face when you come out. It's mad. The players are shaking, and
Facts.
the you know, the change room's cold. The whole thing. So you got to play your big players.
No, you're speaking
I
facts.
understand that, but I just feel as though it's a thing where it's like we constantly. I just feel I've heard anyway that Saka's just had a knock, and he looks like he just has a knock when he's playing. He doesn't have that same explosiveness that we've seen previous, and apparently it's a Hill thing. So I've just said, okay, cool. You got to manage minutes with the big players, you know, especially when they have a knock, you know. And I'm not saying, okay, rest him Champions League, but he came off on the weekend, so maybe limit his minutes. And then he came off before, he had an injury before, so it
Went
just
into the
feels to
season with an
me,
injury, allegedly.
yeah, he's had it for. I've heard he's had it for months, and it's not just me hearing it in the grapevine. You kind of see it in his play. Sometimes it's like, you know, I feel as though Saka sometimes like gets injured on purpose just to see if Arteta takes him off, and Arteta's like, nah, B, keep going, bro.
You tough, right?
You tough, keep going. You know what I mean? So to me, the whole thing of rest players Champions League, nah, it's not group game. It's not group game 6, and we've won all the games and we're clear. It's not that, but you have to manage. You know, there's Nelson there. There's, you know, Jesus can play in that position. That's Jesus can play across the front three. You know, Havertz up front, you know, and his actual position. There's players.
I mean, what is Havertz's other position? That's another debate in itself.
That's
still,
another
right?
debate. Smith Rowe, like, it's just, don't rinse our players out like a bar of soap, innit, please. Because now
you're speaking facts.
No, because now, a couple of days ago or a week ago, you remember when we found out Rodri was going to miss the game? We're like, calm, yeah.
Yeah.
Now we ain't got Martinelli
now.
and Saka, by the way,
It's
potentially,
peak.
which is like, all right. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
You're right, still, man. No, you're speaking facts, man, and I think you touched on it in that. I think fans, you can't have it both ways, innit? I think if you're Saka and you're going the levels you're going at, you're going to probably, rightly or wrongly, like there's another debate to if footballers play too much, but you're going to probably play 50, 60 games. I agree with you. It's Champions League. The man needs to play. We haven't confirmed qualification. If you confirm qualification, great. Where my issue is with Arteta is that there's been games where it's kind of been wrapped up or we've got enough to get over it. He could get a 20 minutes, a half an hour, a 10, or 5. Before you know, you've saved an hour in the legs of Bukayo Saka. So I think that's where Mikel Arteta probably needs to trust other players and trust the rest of his squad, because obviously, I don't need to say it, touch wood, pause, if Saka's injured, it's peak for us, really and truly. You're speaking facts. What do you make of Mikel Arteta as a manager anyways throughout his time at Arsenal, and more so the last 2 years?
I'm impressed. I've fallen to love him more. I'm not gonna front and say I wasn't onto him at the start. But he's brought a style of play. He's brought passion. You know, I criticize him at times. I'm honest. You know, but I'm impressed. Like, I'm really like actually delighted now to watch Arsenal. You know, and I didn't give up, but Jesus Christ, them days were dark.
It's a long
2019.
road. It's been a long road.
Like, Wenger was like, all right, cool. Like, you know, like, we survived Wenger in it. Like, Wenger high days, and then Wenger dementia days. Like, he forgot how to manage, you know. And then there was Emre. Like, people going, Emre's a good. Like, we went through the war zone. Like, Norwich giving us 30 shots or whatever. Was it Watford side giving us 30 shots?
Bro, and not even that, the Europa League final.
Man. Come on, man. Like, so we've been through it, and it's been tough. But I'm impressed. You know, last season we overachieved. Don't get it twisted. We still bottled, but we overachieved. It's a weird thing to say. And now we're like in the conversation as top runners now. You know, so like, he's done a magnificent job. You know, he's still learning on the job. This is his first managerial job. But yeah, man, I can't lie to you. I rock with Arteta. I like how he handles most things, apart from Saka and other things. But I like how he managed most things, and like, he has like an identity he wants to like imprint in the club, and you can see through the fans and everything. It's nice, you know. So yeah, man, I'm happy with him, man. I can't lie to you. I'm happy, and I think he can grow. It just really depends now on what he did. That next big signing is gonna be key. That next, like, is gonna take us to like phase 5, as they say, or whatever. But you know, it has to be like a world class, like, you know. But we'll get into that anyway. But I'm happy with him.
What do you think he needs to improve in?
What, transfer wise, or just
everything, man? Everything. Obviously, resting Saka's one. Like, just everything from what you've seen with Mikel Arteta so far. Like, anything, you know. Obviously, you know, someone. Go on.
I think managing minutes is key. Rotation, managing minutes, and that doesn't mean, I think, just trusting certain players as well. You know, I think the likes of Nelson and stuff, it's hard for them to have an impact coming on 10 minutes, 5 minutes per game. You know, sometimes you can start them, especially in Premier League, not just Carabao Cup. But I think he will understand that. I think the experiment he's doing with Havertz, I don't like it, because I know it doesn't make sense, you know. And I want the biggest number 34 fan. I'm not gonna say his name. You feel me? Because, you know, there's ultras. Oh yeah, he's a legend. All right, one good year.
I don't know about Arsenal legend. The bars on the floor. Big up Xhaka, but legend's crazy.
Listen, Deluded, I heard some stuff, and I'm like, you didn't see number 34 doing some madness, going 10 men and putting his middle finger up. You ain't.
I was at the game, you know. I was at that game, bro. That was fully like being in a pantomime, bro.
But you ain't seen that, so I'm not gonna knock him. He's improved, but this whole legend,
nah, legend. If he's a legend, there's bare man that are legends.
The bars on Denilson, Boué, we'll go there. Shea Adebayor, we'll go there.
We've had some needy players, you know. Like, you're triggering my PTSD.
You know, so I know, chill on Shea Adebayor, innit? Like, before he cut his hair, it was hard. Arsenal had ballers, you know. Don't get twisted.
Some man was easy.
Them days we're in Champions League and we're doing a madness, yeah.
No, we did have ballers, man. There's a certain one that snaked it and went to City, and it's not Adebayor that I had a lot of time for, man. A certain French international, yeah, man. He broke my heart the most. Yeah, the only one them times I can put up with is Cesc, because he always said, I'm going Barca one day. I didn't like the whole, I'm sure they won the World Cup or something and they were putting the Barca shirt on him in the celebrations, but he's the only one I can forgive, and he signed for them boys in blue, man. We did have some good players. We did, you know, Arshavin, Robin van Persie.
But do you know what I'll say with the whole like thingy? Like, I think only I can say Van Persie left and continued. Like, Cesc left, but let's be honest, his best years were at Arsenal. Like, he was.
But he bagged some trophies. He did all right at Barca. He went and won the Prem over them.
I'm talking like individual. Like,
he had his most clout in an Arsenal shirt. You're right on that.
he won stuff, Barca, of
There were the
course.
days people left Arsenal and then they
Yeah.
declined, which ain't the case
You know,
now, really.
he became a BBW. You know, Adebayor went everywhere. Like, come on, he wore the
Even
number
signed
6
for the
for a
Ops as well on loan.
like, you know. But anyway, to the whole thing about number 34, it's like, okay, cool. We've got rid of a left centre mid. It's the chance to invest in that. We put Havertz there, which I think Havertz is decent. Cool. He's fumbled at Chelsea, but there's something there. For him to flourish and you want that potential to come back again, you got to play him where we saw Community Shield, false 9. You know what I mean? Like there, it's weird because it's like this season, defensively, we're better in a way. We concede less, but we're not creating chances now. So that fluid football is not really there. I don't mind if you're winning, but when you're now struggling to score goals and stuff, that's when now
Question marks.
it's gonna to get me. So I think he can, just in terms of, I don't know, maybe just is the word adapting? I don't know, but just in terms of just, okay, cool, buddy. It's time to start playing people in their positions now, innit? Do you feel me? And letting them flourish. And I think managing minutes, I think he can do that. And then in terms of transfers, I think, I got a lot of love for Tony, but I don't think, he should come here. Like I'm cool with Tony, whatever.
Why aren't you with Ivan? Why aren't you with the Ivan Toney thing then?
Because it's a thing where it's like we're trying to raise it now, and like we're trying to get to that
really
top
kick
level.
on, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I think Tony would be better than the strikers we have, of course, now. But it's a thing where it's like, okay, cool. 27, hasn't played in 8 months. He will bang at the next club, but then how long's he got left kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? At the same time. And I think that level now. And it's like, okay, cool. We can get Tony. I'm saying you can get Tony, but then you need someone else now. The same way Man City got Haaland and Alvarez.
It's not realistic to probably expect us to grab all them strikers.
And we're
it's
not
probably
gonna,
Tony / Osimhen and that's it. And with Jesus and maybe Eddie, who might leave if the next one comes through the door.
So you got to really bring them world beaters now. You got to bring
But that's the thing. Who is there though? Because the striker market looks meaty, bro.
I think Leao. Listen, our best shooter is currently on the wing, right, with no support, and that's Martinelli. He's a dog.
We miss him, man. He's an XL bully. Since they bought that band, he ain't been fit. There's a bit of a conspiracy going on, man.
I'm just saying, you look at the stats, bro. Man scoring 15, the highest Brazilian goal scorer. He's scoring 15. Was gonna break the record.
He got and a goal, like you mentioned, and a goal got ruled out incorrectly at Old Trafford. But we don't get them decisions.
We don't. You know what I mean?
We've been seeing that.
But it's a thing where it's like you've got an incredible shooter there, who I think his future is in centre forward. So you try that, and obviously you have Leao that could switch with him, and it's perfect because the only outlet we have is Martinelli. You understand? Like Leao would fit perfectly just in terms of the space he can use when he has the ball, that attacking that play. It just makes sense. It's perfect.
Step overs as well, man. He'll
get
fans off their feet in that.
And he's a player that can play across the front line. So of course that's an Arteta player. Arteta likes players that can play across that line, innit? So why the hell not? Because the striker market is a bit meaty. I like Osimhen, of course. He's top class, but
you need to be talking serious racks for that.
Not even that. I just have the fear of when guys come to the Premier League sometimes, innit?
There's a bit of tax.
There's a bit of tax. You just never know. And you can argue, okay, cool, but he wants Leao. Maybe tax there. But I just have more faith in Leao coming and doing his thing than Osimhen. Do you feel me? So it's one of them ones, isn't it? And obviously I think that left centre mid is ASAP. Frankie de Jong, myth, mate. So as much as I'd love that.
It's a FIFA thing, man.
It's a FIFA thing. Let's stop. Let's get out of the way, innit? So that left centre mid there, and then obviously I would say like a Saliba level Senny CB next to him.
But you mentioned it, yeah, and that's the thing with Havertz. Like, would it be fair to say, a bit of a twofold question, that I know Xhaka isn't Patrick Vieira, and I think we shouldn't be missing someone like Xhaka, but would it be fair to say that one, we miss Xhaka, and two, when we needed to address our midfield, like obviously we've got Odegaard, we've got Declan Rice, that's almost two pieces to a 3-man puzzle. So would it be fair to say we miss Xhaka and we don't know Havertz's best position? Because as you said, Arteta loves multifunctional players, but it's like Havertz can play everywhere. But what is he a master of? We've seen him come up and play in midfield. We're now seeing Arteta try and make him a left-sided 8. Obviously, he can play as a false 9. But what I would say to the false 9 thing in the physicality is you still need to have shooting boots. And if there's one major error in Havertz's game, he just doesn't look like anything close to a shooter in front of goal.
Mhm. Of course, but you know, when we saw against City, he can bring attackers in.
Yeah, no, he
Then
put in
of
work in the
course,
Community Shield.
you know, it works. When I've seen him, his best minutes have been when he's up front and he can hold the ball. And of course, the shooting, all right, cool. Will it come? Will it not? We'll see. But it's a thing in terms of like the midfield. I don't think it's that we miss number 34. It's more
Man, still won't say his name.
no, because I have an agenda. It's not that we missed number 34. I think his time to go was then. But again, we should have also got rid of, you know, Thomas Partey as well at the same time. Because again, Thomas Partey is aging. We need to understand when we buy these Africans, yeah, he's not 30, he's 43. That's just how it is. That's why you man are like, why is he aging so quickly? Bro, man could be my dad. It's just how it is. He's aging mad quick, and that's life. So them two should have gone. You understand? Maybe okay, cool. You get rid of Thomas Partey and keep number 34 for one more season. But I think it was time anyway. Both in their 30s. We could have easily done what's it called? Getting 2 key parts of our midfield gone. Bring Declan, who was settled in well, which I said he's gonna do that anyway. Prem proven.
Yeah, everyone knew Declan Rice would be 30.
Second best DM in the world, in my opinion, behind Rodri. So it was gonna happen anyway. You understand? So bringing that left mid now, okay, cool. Couple games, they would have jointed well, and then boom, you know, because Jorginho, yes, is the backup in DM, but now I think what Arteta wanted was Declan to be the left centre mid, which he can do, and Partey's the number 5, or sorry, the DM or whatever. But Thomas Partey can't stay fit. We've seen he's out here doing what he's doing. He's got another baby mum, so he's busy. We're not going to talk about the legal stuff, but he's busy, so he's not reliable. A DM that's not reliable is crazy. It's crazy.
It is because it's the knock-on effect. You kind of fragment your whole team. On the topic of that, yeah, what do you make of like? Because we are scoring goals on the face of it, but do you think we are necessarily firing in front of goal? Do you think we look shaky? Do you think we're actually creating chances to the standard we can?
Not as many. You look at the stats. We're not creating, or we're not as fluid as we used to.
And why do you think that is as well?
Just the fluidity of the midfield. It's not there. It's not there. Like it's not as fluid as it's supposed to be. And players are in the wrong position. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, for example, Saka, you know, he needs runners around him. He's isolated. You know, we know how
like 3 man up against him and that next time 9 times out of 10.
Yes, you know, I keep Smith Rowe should be there because he's the runner. You understand? So it helps him. We saw that during lockdown when that man were doing
yeah, when it was the 2 Haylanders, yeah, man, they saved us.
Hayland, it's nice. You know, Fabio Vieira has moments and whatnot. You know, it's just about, like I said, we have so many players that are all on the right, not enough on the left, not enough runners for Saka. You know, not putting our best shooter Martinelli in the positions to score. You know,
you're right on that.
Touchline winner. Yeah, he's not a touchline winner. He can do it, but he's not that. He's a shooter.
He's more of an inside forward, really, which most wingers or that score goals are in this day and age, really. The wingers aren't necessarily the most productive in this day and age. So you're right on that.
You see, you said it right, inside forward. You remember like how Liverpool were moving mad, Mane and that kind of flex.
Demons, yeah.
That's what he's on. But again, go and touch the byline. You feel me? And so it just, I think that fluidity is missing. You know, a lot. But it's weird now because we've added Declan and we're a bit more solid. Like I can go to like certain away games. Like we went to Merseyside, didn't break a sweat. You know, it just felt we got big men. Well. Yeah, so it's like sometimes, you know, I'm not saying we're gonna win the league, but sometimes when you're battling out for the title and whatnot, like you need to be defensively, you know, strong. Like that year Liverpool won it, you know, they didn't score as many goals as they did. They were the years before,
and they kept a lot more clean sheets. And you know what they say, defense wins titles.
You know, so, but then at the same time, you look at it, we're missing chances too. Tottenham, we could have
Missing a hell of
buried
chance.
them, man.
Oh, don't remind me on the Spurs thing with Jesus.
Jesus
And even that,
Christ.
as much as I get on Jesus, we're not creating enough. He should have bagged. I think that chance sums up Jesus in that he's an animal. He's a pressing demon. But it's like, if there's one thing that looks average in Jesus' game, it's finishing. And it sounds mad to say that about such a player. And obviously you can improve your finishing, but what, he's like 26, 27, 25 to 27. If that's not there now, it's not going to surely be there to the standard we need it, really. So I think he can contribute, but we need a next bagsman, whether that is Tony, whether that is Osman, whether that is Vlahovic or the random Joe blogs that Arteta is probably scouting. It's a bit of an interesting one. And I think you're right. Defensively, I think off the ball and defensively we've improved, but that's kind of come at a cost of us in the final third. I think it's too predictable. And it's a bit weird because for me, bro, it's like we take more risks in the defensive third and we're a bit more like the handbrake is on in the final third, which surely if you're going to take more risks, it should be in the opposition's half of the pitch. So it's a difficult one. On the topic of defenders or defensive players or whatnot, what do you make of Raya versus Ramsdale and Raya in general so far in an Arsenal shirt?
I knew you were going to ask this. I'm glad you asked it. I'll be honest, both mid.
Damn. That's the first person I've heard say that. Damn.
I'll be honest. Like, we're all, Raya's better and Ramsdale.
You said
they're both decent keepers. Let's keep it a bean. They're both decent keepers, but none are world class. Bless their cotton socks.
That's fair.
You know, Ramsdale, ADHD, great. It works in away games, but when he has to focus now, when you're a big club and the ball is not coming to you as much as a goal, you're not going to get as many shots as when you're in a lower team. So you have to be focused. And at times, Ramsdale is like, you're not focused. All right, cool. And now it seems like Raya now has got the gene that Ramsdale has. But like I said, it's early. All right, cool. Have your time, whatever. But like I said, me personally, it's just, you're just taking two mids out of it. And it's like, you know, that's my thing. I don't think they're world class yet. Can Ramsdale be? I don't know. I think Ramsdale has a bigger ceiling than Raya, because obviously he's younger and whatnot, and he has a lot to learn. But right now, it's two mid. It's both mid. Let's just keep it a bean and say how it is, innit? It's just both mid.
You're the first one I've heard say that, you know, and like I do agree generally in that I don't think one's clear of the other. They're kind of both the same players. What I would give Raya is, like you said, I think his focus is better. I think that correlates because he's more like he comes off his line and he's almost like another centre back. But I don't think anyone's clean. What I would say with Raya in the two games that I've kind of expected some certiness. Fair enough, you made a mistake, but I have to mention it. You know, the lens pass was meaty. I don't think you did anything glaring against Spurs, but the first goal, I think collectively, including himself, could have done better. Other than that, in all the other games, he's not really had much to do. So it's not really a thing like that, if I'm completely honest with you. So I guess my last kind of subject for you to kind of round up this live stream, Arsenal versus City, man. What's your feelings? You could argue there's never been a better chance to play City with the players they're missing. Do you think this has a bearing on the title challenge as well? What's all your thoughts in relation to Arsenal City, man?
I think we have less of a chance now. Not to sound negative, of course, I want my boys to go out there. And, a couple of days ago, I was like, yeah, but now no Saka and Martinelli. It's like, ooh, okay. Yeah, Rodri is the piece to them. Haaland is firing blanks. But then this is how
he'll find his shooting boots against Arsenal, man. That's the
how
Arsenal
we are. We always like to give people rep every time, man. And then, you know, Haaland don't score. They got Havertz. It's just a mad team. So at the Emirates, it's going to be interesting. It just depends how we start and how we play. I personally think he's going to probably play Partey, Rice, and Odegaard midfield.
I want to see that, to be honest.
And it'd be nice to see that, because then I have trust in, okay, cool, we're not going to get out-muscled. You know, we're not going to get outworked in that midfield. It just really depends on the front three.
That's the thing. What would your front three be as well, man? Like, I'm not going to lie, it's all media if Saka and Martinelli aren't there. I'll be real. I'll be so real. It's just bare square pegs in round holes.
Yeah, I'd probably say front three of...
So madness.
Trossard, Havertz, and Jesus. So Havertz up front, Jesus right, Trossard left. If not Trossard, maybe Nelson, but I don't think he would start, and I don't think Smith Rowe would either. So I probably would go with that front three. Trossard.
You're not starting Eddie?
I just haven't seen enough of him, and I like Eddie. I think Eddie is exactly what it says on the tin. You feel me? Like people knock him, but let's be honest. Like when he's coming, bro, man,
He's
when
done
Jesus
well.
split his leg open, bro, he did what he had to do and scored the goals.
He's got
Like
elite mentality. I'll give
he's a
him that. He
good
might not
player.
be an
He's a
elite
good
player, but his
player, but
mentality's messed.
yeah, he's got good mentality. He's always gonna give it his all. Don't get it twisted. You know, it's just like I said, his ceiling, and that's calm. But he's gonna give it his all. Don't get it twisted. So I like Eddie. I'm not gonna knock Eddie, but I think just against City, what we need, you know, you need a bit of height. You know,
Which
generally,
Havertz
I
does
want,
have.
you know, Havertz will win some aerial balls. You know, whether he'll finish, only God Allah knows.
Listen, I don't want to talk about Havertz's finishing, man. Like, I don't
All you
expect you
know.
to score. We don't really have any shooters like that, you know. Him, Jesus and Havertz really should stay after training and work on the finishing, more so Havertz. But
Yeah.
that's the thing against City, you've got to be clinical, man. And if we're not really creating chances and necessarily taking them, it's a bit nervous. And as you mentioned earlier, away from home, we look a lot more, I don't know why it is, but a lot more professional away from home. At the Emirates, we're very entertaining for the neutrals. So it's a game where truthfully, I'm going to be nervous. Like if I had to give a prediction, with my heart, I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. With my brain, I think we're going to hold a 3-1 if I'm honest, regardless of who's there. Of course, I want to be wrong.
Yeah, it's just how the Emirates is. I feel nerves, and I feel like
Exactly.
yeah, it's 100% a nerves thing, 100% a nerves thing because you just feel it like and we always concede first, then the fans kind of
It's
get on the
drama,
back a
man.
little bit. Yeah, it's trauma, and it's like now with it's just yeah, man. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Like you said, heart, yeah, I think heart a draw. I'll be honest. My
Do
head,
you know, I'll take a point. We live to fight another day. Of course, I'd like to beat them,
yeah.
but we live to fight another day. We don't go into the international break all doom and gloom because if we lose twice this week, it's a madness, really and truly.
We
Like
know how
life has to go on, but it's a madness.
we know how we overthink. So 100%. If we go into that, it's boy. So yeah, draw be nice. But then at the same time, it'll feel like a missed opportunity
Yeah.
because I feel like they're a bit weak, even though they won the other day. But you know, it just depends. But who I want to see how Ben White handles Doku. It could be a
Oh,
long, and
big day for
I
him.
love Ben Black. I do, but I've seen him,
I
you
said
know,
Ben Black.
against some fast like wingers and that. Like
Rashford
he
if it
keeps
comes to
doing the
man.
thing that he lets like guys inside, and I'm like, bro, can you not? Can you?
Would you put Tomiyasu in there then? Just because he's a bit stronger 1v1, he's a bit more switched on defensively. You lose a lot going forward, but you probably arguably gain a lot with Tomiyasu defensively there
You can
in a
argue
game
that.
like this.
I like Tommy S. He's a bit of a crackhead. I like him though. Like I like him. I like him a little bit. You know, I do still. Potentially, yeah, you could do that. Potentially. It just really depends. Ben White can have his day, but against fast wingers sometimes, and Doku is mad. If it's Grealish, cool.
Yeah.
You know, okay. But he's definitely gonna play Doku, and it might get long. You know, Haaland, all right. There's Saliba in it. Saliba tax. So I'm cool. But then there's Alvarez. You don't know. You know,
There's a
so
lot of
at least
savages in that City team. This is why I don't care who they have fit because like I've seen worse players give us a day, and City can cut you open in 2 passes, and they're still littered with quality. Because this just tells me naturally you're gonna go a bit more offensive against us, really. Because Phillips might not play, and if he does play, he's not playing 90 minutes. So surely you double down with the Fodens and the Bernardos and all of these guys. And if you try and play football, arguably that suits us, but it suits them. And boy, it just makes it a crazy game, really and truly, broski.
it does. So we'll see. I can't lie. We'll see.
You're
We'll
making me
see what
nervous for
happens.
this game now. You know, I thought I accepted that Sunday it is what it is. Now, the more I think about it, I'm kind of shook.
Nah, I ain't even think about it. I can't lie to you. I ain't think about it, to be fair. I'm gonna
So
finish my
just
shoot.
dealing with it when it comes.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish my shoot, rush home, and then look at it and just go, yeah,
It is
man.
what it is.
If it's not, you know what it is? It would feel nice if it was away from home for a weird reason.
Yeah, because we've been better away from home. We seem a bit more professional this season and off the back of last season. I think everyone would agree with that.
So it really depends. Like I said, would you start Ramsdale or Raya?
Do you know what? I think you have to keep, you know what, you've committed to playing Raya. Raya might as well play. But in a weird way, now that you asked it to me, I think Ramsdale would have a point to prove. You know, you don't know when your next minutes are going to come. But it's that thing, like the one thing I'd say is one of Raya's strengths and weaknesses is he gets gassed off the fans. He channels that energy and that can make you better. But that also could give you ants in your pants. And I just think Raya's a bit more calm. He's a bit more collected. He collects crosses a bit more. he's probably less prone to make a mistake. I know he had that glaring error against Lens, whatever you refer to it as. Oh, do you know what? I'll probably keep Raya, man. I just think there'll be too many changes.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Raya, I'm more comfortable with him saving it. It's just
Exactly.
him playing from the back. He can be wavy, but then maybe the error. Ramsdale, it was like, bro, there were certain shots Ramsdale was letting in, especially at the Emirates, and I was like,
Could you have done better there?
what's going on here, bro? Forget all the you pass it to an opponent, that happens. But like some saves, I was like, I don't know, bro, what's going on? But then at Anfield or at Tottenham,
He's
you're
a
moving
madman.
mad.
Like you said earlier, when he's constantly peppered, he's a madman. Like you mentioned, Anfield, he saved us in that second half in his own way. I know Salah missed the pen, but he saved us. There's Leicester a few years ago. That's the thing. Like, if it's a game where he's going to be peppered, which I hope not, because I never want that with my keeper, then Ramsdale. But I'll probably stick towards Raya, especially if Tomiyasu starts. I'm not really a big fan of changing too many things defensively. Like, obviously, there's no Timber, so Zinni has to play. We know what Zinni gives you in the opposition's half. He's not going to defend well. So it's a techie one. I'll probably lean towards Raya at this moment. But if Ramsdale starts, he's got my support, man. Either way, we're going to need our midfield to be spot on, because I can't really bet on everyone defensively apart from our centre-backs. I can't really bet on, especially if Saka and Martinelli are not there. The one place I don't want to lose the battle is Martin Odegaard, Partey and Rice, man. That's the only kind of thing I'm kind of confident about, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's techie, man.
I think Saka will play on Sunday.
You know he'll play, man. You know
he'll play. I don't know why I'm saying. I know he'll play.
He's in the England squad. They must already know if he's fit or not.
He'll play and limp off or something, and then play like 90 minutes. Just is what it is, isn't it? You feel me? So,
bro, that's the thing. It is what it is. If we win, we win. If we lose, it is what it is. We're just gonna have to move forward, man. Do you know what? Last question, actually. If we win, do you think this has a big, if we win or lose, do you think this has a big say on the title? Or is it too early for that?
It's a statement.
That's true.
Statement. That's the best way I can put it. It's a statement. We obviously know from last year, listen, man, you can't get carried away. But it's a statement. You go and beat psychologically, what it would do, it's like, yeah, all right. With them, we'd still be unbeaten in the league.
And I think everyone forgets that, we're still unbeaten in the Prem. I know we lost our record midweek, so it'd be a techie one, man.
Serious. And I think it will help, because if we now win the next Carabao Cup game, we're gonna now have a game every single. We're gonna have 2 games a week till Christmas.
Yeah. Game every 3 days, essentially.
Yeah, game every 3 days. So psychologically, that might help, But I think it's more mental what it will do on Sunday. If we go out there and get a win, like that feeling, it's not what okay, it will make the players go, okay, cool. For that,
we can actually believe in ourselves now. We actually can go toe to toe with this beast of a City side. You're right, still.
Exactly, because I'm confident in most teams that we can do a job. Maybe apart from Liverpool, Anfield, most teams we can go and go. It just really depends. We just have to up the level, and that means what, 90 points this year?
Yeah, man, you have to be. If you want to pip City to a title, you need to be looking at 90 odd points. Really, it's sad, but this is the levels in football, especially with Pep Guardiola at the helm over them sides. You're right, man.
So we'll have to see, but yeah, man, it really depends. Get our best players back, and then play them in the right positions, and then we go from there, innit? You know what I mean? We see what happens.
And that's the brilliant thing about it, man. We can talk before the game. We'll have to see on Sunday, man. But listen, it's been amazing having you. Lovely for you making your debut. Obviously, I know the content you make, but for anyone who's just found out about you for the first time ever, where can they find you and then all of that stuff?
Of course, thank you, man. So Edwin Jr. 419, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Edwin Jr. as well. If you want to see real world comedy, where comedians ain't afraid to be cancelled, visit my comedy club as well. Go to Mike Comedy.
I think they will, mate.
Yeah, go to Mike Comedy. So you want to see that live comedy. If you want to come to an affordable date night, because a couple man, they want to take a girl out, mini golf, bowling. All right, the same 6 guys before you took her there. So bring a comedy. It'll be her first time. She's gonna enjoy it. Like I say, I'm telling them now, come now, because you can bring your missus, your sugar mom, your side chick. You ain't gonna be baited out. But when this thing blows up now, and you're not gonna be able to do that because your main girl's gonna come with her girls, don't say I didn't warn you. So like I said, check out all the socials.
Hey, this guy's a madman.
Check out all the socials. Stay loyal. And yeah, man, Edwin Jr. Appreciate it, Deluded Gooner. Hopefully we can do this again another time.
Nah, man,
Yeah,
we'll
man.
definitely get a few shows going. Thank you for tuning in. Obviously, people, I know he's just plugged himself there. All his information will be in the description. Again, he's got a YouTube channel. So again, by the time this video comes out, just click the title, subscribe, have a butchers, support the show, support the content, support the platforms. And yeah, people, on that note, one love for being tuned in, bro. We're going to love and leave everybody. Peace. Safe.
Yeah, no more love.
Come on. Come on.
You always use that active and defending.
I think it's like